Hey, baseball fans, Matt Magee here for the BCR. Make sure to subscribe and become a member today. All offseason, we have a jam-packed schedule to keep you entertained and informed during the MLB offseason. Weekly shows like MLB Today, and for you country club members, Braves Country Today, going over the world of baseball, how it affects all teams, including the Atlanta Braves. Once Upon a Pastime series, Thursday nights, we'll take a deep dive on the history of this great game. And on Friday nights, Braves Country Theater, we're going to turn back the clock and bring you historic games from the past. We'll bring you a game from yesteryear. That's Braves Country Radio, the BCR. Coming this spring, a jam-packed loaded spring training schedule, wall-to-wall coverage of Major League Baseball. Pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play, the Atlanta Braves, and our out-of-town doubleheaders. American League, National League, we'll see you there for the classic call of the great game of baseball.
Armchair.
Do you think you can get me a tape of the show?
What on earth for?
Well, how often do you get to hear your son on the radio?
I'm on the radio every day.
You're listening to WQVZ, 1700 AM Mission Radio.
For me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
No one talks in my meeting. No one. Think you can run this? If you could, then I wouldn't be here. Because I'm sick and tired of our football team getting pushed all over the field. I want precision. This is an institution of learning, ladies and gentlemen. You've tried it your way for years. They've given me less than 1 year to turn this place around. Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. Yeah, the armchair quarterback. He's kind of fun and he's kind of fat. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? Welcome to the Armchair Quarterbacks Today on Armchair Quarterback Radio. Good to see you, Bobby and Doug. How y'all been? We haven't been on in a couple of weeks.
Doing good, hanging in there.
I'm doing good, hanging in there as well. I'm happy to be back after our break, and just excited to talk football.
Bobby has is ground zero for COVID-25, so don't get too close to the screen.
Patient zero.
Patient zero, baby. We didn't end up going to Vegas like we were supposed to because of all the FFA shutdowns, all the nonsense. If you follow the world of politics, you'll know what was going on. And then they eventually backstroked a few days into our trip and said, no, we're going to go ahead and open up the government. So anyways, we did not make it out to Vegas, which was very disappointing. But we did go to St. Augustine. So we went down there for about 3 or 4 days and had a lot of fun anyway. So let's go ahead and get into the first segment of the show, the Survivor Picks. Doug and Bobby. All right, Survivor Picks. I got knocked out because Doug, you said it was Green Bay, right?
I think it was Green Bay yeah.
I think it was. I got knocked out by some bum that couldn't get their act together. But that does not mean that we are going to give up on the entire thing. So Bobby and Doug, y'all are up. It's Doug's. Doug is at the bottom of the totem pole, so we'll give him first dibs. Doug, what you got?
I got give me the Patriots to beat the Bengals. It's pretty. That's just. I think it's kind of a no-brainer one.
Good
Bengals have no defense.
I'm sorry. Do what?
Oh, I was just saying Bengals no defense, hapless team. Patriots looking pretty good. So
you're giving the Bengals is your survivor?
No,
the Patriots.
No, the Patriots.
Even stranger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just they're a road team that's. I mean, I guess they are 7.5 point favorite, but good luck with that. All right, Bobby, what you got?
Yeah, my pick, talking about hopeless teams, I'm going to go with the Seahawks to beat the Titans. The Titans are terrible. They're probably the worst team in football right now. If not, they're one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in football. And the Seahawks, I know they lost last week to LA, but that's a really good Rams team that they went up against. And I also think Sam Darnold's going to bounce back after the down week he had last week. So give me the Seahawks to go out there and beat down on the Titans. I
guess I'm glad that neither one of y'all took Detroit, because hopefully we get another round in this here in the near future. I'm really surprised nobody took Detroit at home against the Giants, but we'll see what happens with that. As it looks like Jackson Dart will be back. He had the concussion protocol, and they said they expect him back at practice today. So I'm assuming that all is going to be good in the hood with him.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard anything different?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't either.
Okay. So that's what we'll go with. Is Bobby is taking Seattle, Doug taking the Patriots, and now we move on to the stupid underdog.
There's no need to fear.
Stupid
Underdog is here.
Stupid underdog. Stupid underdog.
All right, so there you have that. You see the standings there. Bobby dead last, Doug running away with it right now, and I am almost literally in the middle at 5.5 points. Doug has 12.5 points, and Bobby minus 12. So because of that, we always go by the rankings. So Bobby will go first. It gives the man at the bottom the best chance to try to catch up. So, Bobby, where are you going for your stupid underdogs?
Sure. Well, I got a lot of ground to make up, as you were mentioning, and I'm going to go with Kansas State sitting at plus 17.5 versus Utah. They're competing for bowl eligibility right now. They're 5-5 on the year. They need one more win, and they should be bowl eligible. And then Utah, they're a very good team, but like I mentioned, I got to swing for the fences here big time. So I'm going to go with Kansas State sitting at plus 17.5.
Plus 17.5.
Welcome to the crazy world of Big 12 football.
Yeah.
I've been inside that league all season, so that's what I'm saying. Welcome to the 1 week hold on it.
By the way, for Braves fans who are tuning in, because I know we have a lot of Braves fans who will tune in. If you missed the news last night, the Braves did make a couple of moves. That they brought back Iglesias. We'll go over this more on tomorrow's show, the MLB Today and Braves Country Today. But I did want to mention they're bringing back Iglesias as their closer. And they traded away Nick Allen for Dubon, shortstop, light-hitting shortstop for the Astros, but he's not light-hitting as Nick Allen. He has won 2 Gold Gloves, so that's a plus. And he's typically about a 250 hitter with very little pop. But he's definitely an upgrade than Nick Allen. What's going on over there is the Astros trying to make him a little happier to get him more playing time elsewhere. And they're going to bring in Nick Allen because he's a defensive wizard, and you can bring him in to play late in ball games. And of course, he's a good base runner. I'm going to miss Nick Allen. I loved him as a option coming off the bench, but you didn't love him as a starter. So obviously, when you make trades, you have to give up something to get something, and that's what happened with Atlanta. And you never know; they may get totally frustrated with him in DFA. So, what the hell did you give us? Well, he gave you a guy that can't hit his own weight and will never clear the fence on a swing. So, other than that, it's great. All right, so stupid underdog pick. It is my turn, and what did I do with mine? Here we go. All right, so I want to double check these scores to make sure that they have not moved, because I jot these down like a day or two ahead, and then inevitably then ends up jumping and moving. Let me see here. All right, so I'm looking at a couple of them, and I don't think this number has moved at all, but let me double check. Sam Houston State and the game, I should have jotted down the time when I was jotting this down. They are Underdog. There it is, 3:00 at MTSU. They're getting 6.5 points at MTSU. And I'm not saying that Sam Houston State's any good, but my God, MTSU's 1-9 and 0-6 in the conference. Why are they a touchdown favorite? Give me Sam Houston State. So I'll take
that's a Tampa Tones pick if I've ever heard one right there.
Dude, I'm looking at it. I was going through all of them, and there was another one that I like that I obviously won't mention because Doug will be trying to snipe it. But I was looking, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I was like, MTSU is a huge favorite and they're playing what? Now give me Sam Houston State. I don't even care what the issue is, why they're a touchdown favorite. They don't deserve to be a touchdown favorite at 1-9 on the season. And 0-6 in the conference, by the way. Sam Houston State is 1-5 in the conference and 2-8 overall. I know they've got some injuries, but I really don't care. All right, so Sam Houston State and Doug, what you got?
Last week I was in Gainesville all week, and that's influenced my pick. I'm taking the Gators 4.5 against Tennessee. The only reason I'm doing that is because we're playing in Gainesville. They're playing in Gainesville, and I don't think Tennessee's ever beaten, or at least in the last couple of years, I don't think Tennessee's beaten the Gators in Gainesville. So
they haven't beaten them since I think it's either 2003 or 2004.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So yeah, give me the Gators plus that 4.5.
All right, UF plus 4.5, and I'm telling you right now, UT, if you're not going to do it now, you're never going to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, it is set up perfectly. They shouldn't just beat Florida; they should roll them. They're only a 4.5 point favorite because they've been so bad there. Right? They typically should be over a touch. This line should be 7.5, but they're on the outside looking in as far as the playoffs go. I don't think Tennessee has a realistic chance of making a run of the playoffs unless there's just a total collapse across the board. They're 7-3 on the year, but you can win against Florida, and that's really all you're looking at. Let's see. Get this. This is okay. Sorry. Sharing everything to our Facebook crowd now. See who we got here. Good. As was and Robert. I think we said hello to everybody. All right. Next up on the docket, the college football picks, and then we go into our NFL picks. And that's not what I was supposed to hit. Quick reminder, tonight we are going to be doing the tonight's Once Upon a Pastime, and that comes on at 6:00 tonight. And tonight it's called What's in a Name. We're going to go over the history of the names of the teams in Major League Baseball, and I found some cool ones as far as outside of Major League Baseball, minor league baseball teams from actually abroad. I found a few of them. So that's 6:00 tonight. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. it's MLB Today and Braves Country Today. And at tomorrow night, 6:00, Braves versus Phillies. This is a game from the 1980s. I don't know the outcome. I don't know the score, and it should be a lot of fun. This is in my wheelhouse, but it's not like a playoff game, so I don't really recall the game. But this is a throwback to the mid 1980s, and this is really my wheelhouse because this is when I became a huge fan. I was already watching early 80s ish, but by mid 80s I was old enough. I was in my early teens, and I was starting to actually figure out what the hell this game was all about. So all that coming your way this weekend, and I'm trying to figure out when. So Ronald Acuna Jr.'s my Venezuelan baseball team is playing this month going into December, but they have not announced when he returns. When he returns, we're going to do some games, but I'm waiting for the announcement. They played yesterday. He was not in there. I was going to just try to watch the first one, but he was not in the game. So they're saying somewhere around early December. It could be as early as next week. So there you have that. All right. College football picks. Don't really care where we go with this, who starts with this, but we'll go ahead and start with Doug on the college football picks. What is your first pick? And what's different with this, y'all, if you haven't caught the show before, we can double up on picks. The stupid underdog picks, the survivors, all those. Once we grab a pick, the other guy can't have it. But as far as our picks, our six-pack of picks, if we believe that strongly on a pick, then by all means, if you like it as much as the next guy, absolutely tell everybody. All right, Doug, what is your first college football pick and what time and all that stuff?
8 p.m. on Fox. We've got BYU, I believe BYU at Cincinnati. I am taking the money line at minus 135 on this game. And the reason being is with BYU, it's going to be deep. It's going to be
who you're taking?
I'm taking BYU on the money line.
This is how he gets me every time, Bob. He talks in riddles, and then whichever team wins, he goes, no, that's the team I wanted.
It's a great system. It works.
All right.
Anyway,
anyways.
BYU on the money line at minus 135. And the reason being is if you've watched BYU in the last weeks, BYU's defense is going to win them this football game. And the reason I think that the defense is going to win this game, if you go back for the last 2 weeks, especially, I know they lost to Texas Tech 29-7, but the only reason it wasn't 56-7 was because BYU played pretty decent defense against a stronger Texas Tech team, and they played great defense last week. So I'm just looking
I
at
also thought that BYU, honest engine, I thought they walked in there and were flat-footed, emotionless. I don't necessarily think that they were the better team and should have won the game. Don't get me wrong, but that game should have been closer. I mean, BYU came out flat. If y'all remember, I had them on the stupid underdog picks. So I'm watching the game. I'm like, what the hell? The one time I pick you, because I watch BYU football a lot, because for whatever reason, I view them as underdogs and I pull for them, and they've been a lot of fun to watch while Florida State spits the bit, right? Mm-hmm. So I watched a lot of BYU. And which is strange because I hated BYU as a kid because that 1984 national championship is total horse crap and should have never been allowed. But
I know
I want them to have a legitimate shot at a legitimate championship. And I'm with you. I like BYU, but Cincinnati's been a good team. It's a tough spot.
And like I said, the tiebreaker in it is just I think BYU's defense is going to win them this game. I think they're going to keep Cincinnati out of the end zone a good part of the day.
All right, Bobby, what is your first pick?
My first college football pick, I'm looking at that Michigan-Maryland game taking place at 4 p.m. on Saturday. I'm going to go with Michigan minus 13.5. And I know if you look at Maryland's record, they're sitting right below 500, which isn't too bad. But their 4 wins came in the first 4 games of the season against cupcake opponents. I think the best team during that stretch was FAU, I believe. And since then, they've gone on a 6-game losing streak against Big Ten opponents, against legitimate opponents, and they've gotten thumped in a lot of those games. So give me Michigan to steamroll Maryland at minus 13.5.
All right. As was asking, what Seminoles team are we going to see this week? As was a big Seminole fan too. Man, I know one thing. I got to see it to believe it, to see it more than one game in a row. That's because honest engine, I know beginning of the season they won 3 in a row, but 2 of them were Cupcake City. So this team has been notorious for not now. I do believe that he is literally coaching for his job. At one point, I would have said to you, there's no way in hell they're bringing him back. Go ahead and fire him. But now there's a debate whether or not if he just goes 1-1, meaning qualifies for a bowl game, does he get a nod for next year? And because of everything that's going on, they may very well do it. One of the reasons why they may do it is because there's been such a huge turnover in coaching this season. It's the most that we've seen since the 1970s. And the number will continue to grow. You're not going out there on the market at Florida State and going, we're the top job out there. You're fighting with everybody else. So why the hell would you want to get in line behind LSU, behind Penn State, et cetera, even Florida, although I look at them as pretty much the same, even Steven, it depends on what era you're looking at, but pretty much Florida State and Florida's been the very competitive job on both sides. I know Florida's in the SEC, but Florida State has got their own brand, and that doesn't realistically matter. If you go into the market for a starting for head coach, I don't know what you're going to get. Because for people that missed it, James Franklin's already gone. He went to Virginia Tech. I know a lot of people are going to downplay Virginia. James Franklin has put a competitive football team out everywhere he's gone. So I thought that was a great hire by Virginia Tech. I also thought it was a smart decision for him to go there because he's still in his recruiting pocket, right?
Yes.
And so he doesn't really lose anything. He's at Virginia Tech, which realistically is about a halfway point between Penn State and Vanderbilt, where he came when he left Nashville to go to Pennsylvania. So I'm not expecting the moons and stars from James Franklin, but I will tell you this: if you are a fan of Virginia Tech, you know that your floor is much higher than what it was. We don't know what the ceiling is, but the floor is much higher. And do I think of this? He's going to use this as a stepping stone? Sure, but he can help build your program back, and that's not nothing. I mean, Florida State manhandled Virginia Tech last week. Considering how bad we've been, I mean, that's all you need to know. James Franklin's not going to make your team worse.
No.
All right. My first pick is it 7:30 Tennessee, Florida? It is. I'm probably wildly wrong about this, but I see this as more of a rock fight as opposed to a shootout. The over-under is 57.5. Give me the under. I don't see what Florida has left in the tank against that Tennessee defense. And if Tennessee gets a sizable lead, I do think they're going to get very conservative. I just don't see a shootout between these two teams. I just don't. Maybe I'm wildly wrong, but I feel a lot better than that than I do the actual spread. I do think Tennessee gets the win, but I could see it an ugly 20-17 rock fight, win by field goal. So give me Tennessee, Florida, and the under. Doug, what's your next pick?
My next pick is Georgia at 7 p.m. on ESPN. You got Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh. Give me Georgia Tech on the money line at -135. I was going to ask the.
Sorry. I was answering back to as was he said that they don't want to spend $50 million to get rid of Norvell. Remember, a lot of those things get offset. It's not as everyone looks at the buyout and goes, "Oh my God!" But here's the thing: they'll set up with payments where it's not 50. It's not 50. First of all, it's not 50 million all in one swoop. At the most, is what it's going to be. It's going to be his salary, which I believe is around 8 or 9 for the next several years. But what they normally do is to get the buyout down is if they get it down to around a 3-4 million range is paid out for several years. And that gets offset when he gets his next job. So it's not really the number. I know it looks like a terribly huge number, but it's one of the reasons when you're like, well, why would he agree to that? It's one of the reasons why these coaching jobs have these buyouts and have the easy leaves. Bobby, while we're on that subject, what's your thoughts on Lane Kiffin?
I'm hearing that it's looking like LSU right now. I wouldn't mind him at Florida. I don't think he'd be my number one favorite hire. But I don't think we're going to be in for him. Or I think we were in for him, but I don't think we're going to get him anyways. It's looking like LSU is the destination for him. If he does,
I'm going to throw a wild card out at you. New York Giants.
Huh.
Jackson Dart.
Interesting.
That's my wild card. That's why I think it's taking longer than what it is. Now, it's also because he's got a very successful team right now.
Yeah.
But have you seen the ESPN documentary on Lane Kiffin?
I haven't, no.
I think it was made last year, just because the last thing that they state is the summer of 2024, something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I do understand that his family's been looking at LSU and at Gainesville. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, the vibe you get off of that documentary, and maybe they just twisted it, is that he is very happy in Ole Miss.
Yeah.
His brother lives right down the road from him
and
is on the coaching staff. His daughter moved to Mississippi to go to school there, and she now lives with him. That is something that did not happen for years after the divorce with his wife. His wife, who was living out in California, now lives in Mississippi. So they've all transplanted there. Or I'm sorry, not wife, ex-wife.
Excellent.
And his son, who by the way was named Knox. I don't think I remembered that little tidbit. He was born the year that he was in University of Tennessee. In Knoxville. But they're all living there now and singing Kumbaya and holding hands at the table, and he's saying all the right things. I'll just be shocked if he does go to something that's not the NFL, because what are you really gaining going from Ole Miss to LSU or Florida? They feel like lateral moves to me.
Well, they feel like lateral moves. I think they're a slight upgrade in terms of the profile of the jobs. But
I mean, maybe LSU, but
it's. I think LSU.
Gainesville, you're no longer the big dog in your state, right?
Yeah.
You're competing with Florida State and Miami, along with the UCFs and whatnot. So that's
true. Well, and the big concern for me, if I'm Lane Kiffin, is I'm throwing away all the good standing I have with Ole Miss, and I'm going to a new school where the leash isn't going to be quite as long.
Especially when you look at Florida and LSU, particularly.
Yes,
their fan bases are delusional, and they want you fired if you don't get to the national title game next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not going to be in, I was going to say, if you with Florida, especially just talking to people in Gainesville, yeah, if you're not in a national championship game by week 3, you're fired. He's always, it's kind of the joke around Gainesville about fans in Gainesville. But Lane Kiffin has everything. I was surprised that we're even talking about the fact that he may go somewhere. He's a legend in Mississippi.
Well, that's give him forever. Is that you can go wherever you want, but if you stay at Ole Miss, they're going to make a statue of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a legend there.
It's not going to happen at LSU, and it's not going to happen in Gainesville.
Yeah,
because you're living up to the expectations of and look, I know everything gets skewed over time. You think of people greater than what they are, but he's living up to expectations of Spurrier and Urban Cryer, and at LSU you've got Saban. You've got the other 2 national championships that they won with what most people believe was not great coaching. Les Miles and Orgeron. So I don't know why he leaves. And it's no longer a situation where you're like, well, I want to be in a better recruiting state, because Louisiana is a very good recruiting state. Because if you're LSU, you're the top dog. There's a lot of great athletes. In Florida, you're one of 3 top dogs.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of great athletes. There are more athletes. So it's kind of like that.
The only reason I could see LSU is because, like you mentioned with the recruiting, they're the big dog in Louisiana, but also because kids who are going to be, recruiting or being recruited nowadays, they grew up watching LSU be the top dog, be one of the best. I mean, the best team of their lifetime, with that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson trio, all that. A lot of young people want to, they're just fans of LSU because of the success that they've had and because of the brand they've built. So that'd be the only reason.
But to that point, I guess what I was driving at is it's no longer important because of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And the way that recruiting has become, you're not stuck in, I can only recruit guys in my state.
Yeah.
And you're no longer just bringing guys in from high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think any of that matters anymore. And Ole Miss has money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like there's some poverty college that you're like, oh God, man, I'm stuck here at Ole Miss. You can be an absolute legend if you stay. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm sorry what I'm doing right now. And this even goes if the Florida State job was open, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying at Ole Miss. I just am. I'm going to seal my legacy. I can go 6-6 next year, and they're still going to be printing money in Mississippi with my face on it, right? So stupid. It's the best they have been in 50, 60 years. Ole Miss. Keep riding that wave.
Yeah.
If it starts looking a little, then jump ship. But, man, right now you're heading towards the playoffs in all likelihood.
Mm-hmm.
So why the hell? I just don't get it. Bobby, what is your pick?
My second college football pick, I'm going to go with I'm backing Doug on his stupid underdog pick. I'm going Florida plus 4.5. I mean, there's not much else to be said other than that it's Tennessee playing in the swamp. We know how this goes. I have a friend, a very close friend he's a diehard Tennessee fan, and I always joke with him, like, I said a couple years ago that if this isn't the year, then it's never going to happen. But I truly think if this doesn't happen this year, like you mentioned, Mac, it's just not going to happen. And then, frankly, I don't know. There's something about them playing in that stadium where they can't seem to get over the hump. So, I also got, even if Florida does lose, I get 4.5 points to spare. So, yeah, give me Florida plus 4.5.
That to me is, I feel like Florida's going to have a serious chance of upsetting it, or Tennessee's finally going to kick through the door. I don't think there's going to be an in between. This Tennessee team, and I know it's not outstanding, but it's a lot better than Florida.
Yeah.
If you don't go into Gainesville, and the fans are ready to give up too. That's the other thing. They're not going into a hornet's nest. We're like, man, if we win this game, we get to go to the bowl game or anything. No, the season's cooked. It's absolutely cooked. They have 2 games left. They have 3 wins. They're not going to the postseason. So not only do I question whether the fans don't even care to show up for this game, but the other thing is, will the players show up mentally? You know what I mean? Like it's to me, it's insane that this line isn't bigger, but I guess people just really don't respect Tennessee on the road.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I can get at. All right. My next pick is 330. Jesus, with all of the stupid ads that they pop up on this thing. I'm trying to get to the number because I want to make sure it hasn't changed. The 3:30 Eastern, ESPN, Kentucky and Vanderbilt. I'm looking for whether or not we've got a line move on the team total over Kentucky. Yeah, give me Kentucky under 20.5 points. I just don't think that they are going to put a lot of points up. Kentucky's offense to me is garbage and has been for a long time. You know, one of the things that I wonder about that whole deal is Stoops safe? Because we were hearing a lot of rumbling about Stoops getting the can, and then he beat Florida. Did that save his job?
I think
you heard up there, Bobby.
I'm not sure if that saved his job necessarily. I think it helps with his standing. I think it buys him a little bit more time. But Florida, like we talked about with Tennessee, Florida kind of historically has a lot of failures when it comes to playing against Kentucky. So I don't know if it buys a whole lot of time, especially because of the state of that Florida team. But I think it'll at least give them a chance to get things back on track.
Yeah.
They have Vanderbilt, and then they go to is it a road game or yeah? So they're at Vanderbilt and at Louisville. I think he's got to win one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree.
Which I still think a little foolish them getting rid of Stoops. He's done well over the years for Kentucky. He's a very affordable coach. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. We
all know what Kentucky football is. It's an appetizer to get you to basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't matter to some alumni if that's their favorite sport. They're going to put pressure to get rid of them. Doug, what's your third and final pick in the college football world?
Third and final pick at 12 noon. I've got Missouri at Oklahoma. Give me Missouri in the plus 7.5. I think Oklahoma's kind of smelling themselves, and I think they went through kind of an emotional thing when they actually beat Alabama last week. Missouri's a lot better football team than people realize. They played the top-ranked opponents that they played this season. It's been within 3.5 to 4, so I see Missouri keeping this one close. They've got a good run game. Granted, they are playing with their backup quarterback because their quarterback, I think he's out for the rest of the season. I know that Oklahoma's got a good defense, but I could see Missouri winning this game outright.
All right, so plus 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Oklahoma, this is where the rubber's going to meet the road. If you're going to be a serious contender, you better take care of this game this week.
Yeah.
You cannot play with your food. You cannot even make it a close game because these are the final days, the final games where the committee actually starts watching the games. You can't convince me that the committee watches football September. You can't convince me that they watch the first couple weeks of October. They start paying attention when they know, all right, well, we got to meet up in a few weeks. I guess I ought to start paying attention to some of these games. Bobby, what is your third and final college football pick?
My last college football pick, I'm going to go with the USC and Oregon game going under 59.5. Now, I know USC, they kind of have that reputation of being a high-scoring team. But in their last several weeks, they haven't really put up a whole lot of points on the board. I know they had a good game against Michigan, but overall, they haven't really scored a ton where you're confident enough to pick this game going over 60 total points. I mean, we're talking about that's a huge number to reach. I also think Oregon's going to get out to a bit of a lead and try and slow the game down quite a bit, which I think will help this game staying under that 59.5 total. So yeah, give me under 59.5 between USC and Oregon.
My third and final pick, it was almost my stupid underdog pick, but it's just not quite a big enough spread for me to do it. If we were a little closer in the standings, me and Doug, it definitely would have been my stupid underdog pick. Give me NC State plus 4.5. This Florida State team has not run a game on the road in college football in 2 years. They're a 4.5-point favorite, and I get it. NC State's banged up, but they've had some terrible showings in Raleigh over the years. And this does. Oh, and by the way, Tommy Castellanos, you need to quit threatening us and tell us you may come back next year. Okay, hit the road, Jack. I don't want to see it. I want to hear about it. He seems like a nice kid. This has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that he can't hit the broadside of a barn. And I don't want it to go through another year where we're like, okay, here we go. We got basically a glorified free safety out there playing quarterback. And here we go again. The Gus Malzahn error, O-R, not A, continues. There's a small part of me that's pulling against Florida State these last two games. I want to see them fired because it's nothing against Mike Norvell. I like him a lot, and I think he'll do great elsewhere. But he just doesn't have it. Whatever that it factor is, he cannot sustain success at Florida State. And we'll see what happens. They win this game and they beat Florida. They're going to be like, oh, let's run it back. Tommy Castellanos, let's go. And like, dude, we're running into the same situation that we had when James Blackman was our quarterback. You like the guy, but he can't play the position. So give me NC State plus 4.5. Hopefully I'm wildly wrong, and FSU goes and kicks the door through and says, we're heading to a bowl season, and our real bowl game will be next week in Florida. But something tells me that's going to be a battle of 5 and 6 and 3 and 8. They'll be putting that Florida game on C-SPAN, and away we go. All right, time for the National Football League. All right, Bobby, you'll start us off here in the National Football League. What is your first pick, sir?
Yeah, I'm going with the Patriots-Bengals game, going over 49.5 total points. We all know how bad the Bengals defense is. Of course, there's no question about that. And the Patriots offense with Drake May and company, they've been doing well. It's a really good team that they got up in New England now. So I see this game going over 49.5. I think the Patriots will run through them, and I think the Bengals will have enough firepower on offense to at least keep up and get this over 49.5.
That's a interesting one because the New England defense has been pretty good. But, and I really thought that number would drop a little bit with Jamar Chase being suspended.
Mm-hmm.
What
I think eventually, the Patriots are going to get out to a big enough lead where they kind of let the foot off the gas, start playing that prevent defense, and the Bengals start to not claw their way back in the game, but put up some garbage time points.
Bengals are sitting at 3-7. They really needed that win last week. They're sitting at 3-7. There's talks that Joe Burrow could be back next week.
I'm not sure if I'd bring him back, assuming they lose this one.
If they lose this one, I don't see the point. You're 3-8.
Yeah.
I know there's a path, but it's not realistic. Now, Burrow doesn't want to sit, so if he can play, he's going to play. This all comes down to the players' union and whatnot, because we're thinking of his fans, let's get ready for next year. He's thinking of, damn it, dude, I'm going to lose all these games once again on my statistics. How am I ever going to get to Canton, Ohio? Right? And he continues to be very, very fragile. If he's ever going to get there, he's got to start putting, not to mention the fact you don't want to take another year off and then come back to to training camp and knock that rust off again. But I could see a pattern where they play him a few games and shut him down for the last one or two.
Yeah.
Or play him very sparingly, right? Plays the first half and then bye. First half and then bye. So if you have him in fantasy and you get to the championship game, be very, very aware of the fact that could be a thing.
Yeah.
Doug, what is your first pick in the National Football League?
1 o'clock on CBS. I got the Colts and the Chiefs. I don't even know why the Chiefs are favoring this game, but give me the Colts plus the 3.5. Colts are running probably arguably the best offense in football. The Chiefs aren't the Chiefs that that for some reason they think they are. Give me the Colts. I think they'll roll in this game.
I think they're favorites for brand alone, and it's a home game. But the Colts are coming off a bye week, aren't they?
Yep.
See, that's no good. I do believe the Kansas City is going to win that game, but I would definitely take the 3.5. There's no way that you can convince me. In fact, it was 4.5 earlier in the week when I actually took it. But I'm going to go ahead and
double down.
We'll go ahead and double down with you, Doug. Give me the Colts plus 3.5 as that number is dropped. I figured it would. I couldn't understand why it was up to 4.5 earlier this week, but I actually thought by the time we got to this show that it would be under this. It'd be like a plus 2.5. So give me the Colts plus 3.5 as well.
Yep.
All right, Bobby, what you got?
Yeah, so my second pick, I'm going to go with the Jaguars sitting at -3. I think they're going to beat the Cardinals pretty handily. I know the Jags aren't the best team in the league. It's not close at all, but the Cardinals, the Cardinals, they're dreadful. And I could speak on that. The defense is letting up a lot of points. I mean, the week before, or maybe it was last week. Sorry, where we gave up 44 against Seattle. We've just been getting trounced lately. It's a terrible team. Ever since that Cowboys game, it's been a nightmare. I think Jonathan Gannon's clinging on to his last bit of life as a head coach with this team. So I think it's all going downhill really fast. And the Jags are starting to get a little bit of momentum. So give me Jags -3.
All right, so Jags -3. Doug, what you got?
Let's go with at 4 o'clock. We got the Eagles and the Cowboys. Initially, I was going to take the under, but I changed my mind and give me the Cowboys plus 3.5.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, Doug loving the Cowboys.
Well, it isn't that I love them. I just hate Philly's offense. That Phillies offense is absolutely putrid. And you're playing in Dallas where Dallas's offense actually plays really well. So the combination of those two things, I think it's going to be low scoring, and I think Dallas pulls it out.
If you remember in the first game was the first spitting game of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, that's total horse crap. The Jamar Chase is getting suspended for a game, and they're trying to say that because he got kicked out at the very beginning of the game, that is a suspension on the Philly end. No, no. You either suspend him for the next game, or you don't suspend Jamar Chase and you just give him a fine. That was one of the worst decisions by the NFL in years. He got kicked out for spitting. He should have been suspended if you want to send a message. No, what did they do? They said, well, you essentially were suspended. Did he not play in that game? It doesn't matter if he played one play. Was he not in that game? He was in that game.
Yeah.
Awful decision. My next pick on let's see, what time is this game? It should be 1 o'clock. No, 4:25. Oof. Sorry, Falcons and Saints fans, those who live in the Atlanta, New Orleans area, you're going to be stuck with that game on Fox at 4:25. You're not getting Cowboys and Eagles. Whoo! Doggy, that's a big one. Give me the under 39.5. You got Penix, who's out for the season now, it looks like. Kirk Cousins somehow in the last year and a half has aged about a decade. I mean, he looks absolutely awful compared to what he looked like in Minnesota. And I know he came off the big injury, so maybe that's got a lot to do with it. But I don't see how the ball gets moved in this ball game. I really don't. I think this is going to be 13-10 type ball game. So, and not to mention the fact that they normally play lower scoring games because they know each other so well. Give me the under 39.5. You can probably push it up to 40, 40.5, 41.5, and still get a good number. I just don't see any way that these two teams, and I get it, their defenses are not exactly shut down, but they're going to play conservative football because they're both stink. They both have nothing at the quarterback position. Kamara looks like a shell of his former self. I don't see the offense getting in this game. And I know it's not a big number, but it's terrible. Good to see you, as was. By the way, you're wrong about Florida State not being able to beat Florida. Florida loses this game this weekend. Those kids are going to be packing it in. They're going to be looking at transfer portal, all that kind of stuff. FSU kids are still going to have something to play for. They got a solid chance of beating Florida. Not that it's going to mean anything to either team, but it's definitely on the table. I still think Florida will probably be a favorite. They'll probably be like about a field goal favorite. All right, next one. Bobby, what you got?
Yeah, my last NFL pick. I'm going to go with that Colts-Chiefs game, going under 50.5 total points. I think this game's going to get turned into a bit of a rock fight, like the Chiefs make a lot of games. Steve Spagnuolo's defense tends to slow games down and make them relatively low scoring. I think we're going to see that here. I know the Colts defense offense has been pretty high scoring as of late, but yeah, I see this being a low scoring game where it's scrappy, and I think the Chiefs need to make it that way too because they need a win. They can't allow the Colts to put up a ton of points, so they need a win to I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to do it pretty comfortably, but they can't afford to lose many more.
Well, they definitely, if they want to play it that way, they better win that game, because one interesting thing that when you said keep it low scoring and keep it close, the Chiefs last season were like 12-5, or I'm sorry, they were 9-0 in games that were a touchdown or closer. This season they're 0-5 in games they've lost 7-0. So I don't know if that maybe become a jinx. Be careful for what you wish for, but I hear what you're saying though.
I feel like did we get Doug's third pick or did we
No,
not yet.
Okay. So what did I just? Oh, I put
You did your second pick.
No, yeah. I know what I just did. All right, Doug. What is your third and final? What was the Dallas line? 3.5, right?
3.5. Yep.
Okay. What is your third and final NFL pick?
Oh, and now the winner of the Who Cares of Week award. I've got the Raiders and the Browns. Take the Browns plus 4. This game only cares to ask one question. Is Shedeur Sanders worse than the entire LA Raiders team?
Yes.
That's why you watch it for. Or if you're a Raiders fan like me, you care anyway. But yeah, give me the Browns. I think the Browns defense, I know they don't play well on the road, but the Raiders offense is arguably the worst offense in football. And I think the Browns have enough defense to keep it low scoring. And first field goal wins.
All right, my last NFL pick, and I'll tell you what, I'm very, very tempted to take the Cleveland under. Shedeur Sanders is terrible.
Yes, he is.
And I'm saying that as nice as I can because he doesn't seem like a bad kid, honestly. He's god awful, and he smelled himself because his dad's a terrible coach, and pumped him full of sunshine. And they had some good games out in Colorado, but it's also college football. Let's be honest. It's below minor league football. College football is nowhere near the same product as the National Football League. If you watch these games and the more you watch, and I know a lot of people prefer college football over the NFL, and that's fine because that's what you grew up on. But college football sucks. Like if you actually watch the games, they suck. The receiver's always wide open because the defense is playing a soft zone. That's all you ever see in college football is a soft zone. So, yeah, he's putting up some numbers, getting some touchdowns. But they don't block the same. They don't play. You can't even compare it to like, well, it's like the AAA version from minor league. No, if you're comparing it to baseball, Major League Baseball, and what college football would be, it would be like watching T-ball and then going and watching MLB and going, damn, this is not the same sport. College football is not the same sport as the NFL. No. Shedeur Sanders, my God. What was Josina Anderson? You see this?
That was so annoying.
What a stupid-ass tweet that was.
She's been doing that for a while with the Shedeur Sanders or just the Sanders family stuff. It's been going on for a long time.
What got me is that every single retweet that I saw, people or quote tweeting what she said was something of the fact of like, against all odds he makes this play. The whole thing was done by Jerry Jeudy. He avoided like 19 tackles and it was a 4-yard pass against all odds. What are you talking about? First of all, he's never had any odds. He's Deion Sanders' son. He was born on third base, right? So he's never had any odds, but it was a terrible throw, terrible game. He's going to be worse because now the Raiders can game plan for him, right? You're like, well, no, he gets ready and he knows he's starting. The other problem is the Raiders know he's starting. See, it would be an advantage if he knew he was starting, but the Raiders didn't. They're going to look at that game film and go, well, here's the thing. We just need to go towards him, and he's going to panic like hell and throw it. Yeah. So it's going to be a disaster.
And he was running about 20 yards backwards every time he was under pressure. That's the big problem.
The only reason why I don't want to take the under on the Brown side is because I could see Myles Garrett having a couple of pick sixes, right? Yeah, I could just see if I could make a bet that the Browns offense wouldn't score X amount of points, I would do that, but you can't do that, at least in Florida. So give me the San Francisco 49ers minus 7-0. Carolina is, you talk about fool's gold, 6-5. Carolina Panthers are not a good football team. Bryce Young is not a good quarterback. Bryce Young, I'll give him all the credit in the world. He's done a lot with what little he is, not what talent they have. San Francisco's getting healthy at the right time. It's a Monday night game. It's in Santa Clara, California. They're going to beat them by double digits. It is going to be an ass kicking. And it's going to be another game on primetime NFL that is just a dud. What about tonight's game? None of us even picked that stupid game. Buffalo and Houston, that's what we get for Thursday night? Jeez Louise. They've got me watching the NBA again. It's been so bad. All right. Let's get to our locks. Bobby, what is your lock of the day?
My lock of the day. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars -3 against the Cardinals. That's my most confident pick of my 6 picks. The Cardinals are terrible, and if anybody's qualified enough to speak on it, it's me. So yeah, give me the Jags -3.
Man, you are on the Jags this week, aren't you?
I'm just off the Cardinals.
Well said. Well said.
What's going on with Bobby? That's what I think is going on. You think the Cardinals are bad, but you haven't seen the Jaguars play with their food, man. I'm telling you. Right?
That's fair. That's fair. The only thing I don't know. I picked the Jaguars, and I've watched some of their games this season, but I just think the Cardinals are on another level of bad right now. I don't think they're quite like Browns and Raiders bad, but sorry, Doug.
But no, not at all.
The win versus the Chargers is the ultimate. You could have been. The public was on Charger money, and it is the ultimate what I talk about all the time with West Coast to East Coast, where you have a team that's smelling themselves after a big win like the Chargers. Then they have to go to the East Coast on an early kickoff, and they got their ass handed to them. That's why I would tread lightly. I don't hate the pick, but I'm telling you, I would tread lightly on Jacksonville because I've got to see them put something together more than what they've done as far as I can just see that game. I'm assuming we're still getting Brissett, right? Because
yes.
Yeah.
Tyler's on IR, right?
Yeah, he won't be back for a while, if at all.
Brissett is the type of quarterback that can beat the Jaguars.
That's fair.
I would actually give them more of a better chance of winning that game if they were playing Kyler Murray.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Very, very capable of going out there and sleepwalking, and all of a sudden they look up in the fourth quarter and they're down by 10.
It's possible.
Doug, what you got as your lock?
Give me the Patriots and -7. I think they'll win this game by a touchdown.
Patriots -7.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to take – I got to get the actual number because, unfortunately, when you go on this ESPN app, you can't get it. And, I mean, would Hard Rock get their act together, too, and get a damn desktop version so I don't have to look at my damn phone every time? Swear. National Football League is where we are going, and we're just talking about – basically, I've talked myself back into this as being my lock. What is their over under number? Well, total points is sitting at all right. So I'm gonna have to do the math in my head because it's not pulling up over here. You got 36.5, 40. -4 on Vegas. That means that they think that the Browns 16.5 is their over number. Give me the Browns on the under 16.5. I just don't think that unless it's defensive touchdowns, I don't think that they're going to be able to put up 17 points on the Raiders on the road, and everybody knows that Shedeur Sanders playing. The only way they
could put 17 points up against anyone.
Yeah, the only way they get to this number is if somehow Quinshon Judkins just goes the hell off, right?
Yeah.
But even then, he might only score 2 touchdowns, and you still lose somehow 17-12 because they'll miss the extra points because of the Browns. All right, I think we are just about at the end, right? Locks. So it's time for walk-offs. And what we are thankful for, as we won't be here obviously next Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. And my God, you slave drivers, we're not going to be here. Bobby, what is your walk-off and what you are thankful for.
My walk-off.
One
and
big thing. Sorry.
Both of them. It's related to Florida. I think my walk-off is that Florida's going to get it done this weekend as an underdog against Tennessee. I'm not terribly confident in them, but I am confident in Tennessee losing in the swamp. That's what they do. And then what I'm thankful for, I'm thankful that Billy Napier is not my head coach anymore at Florida, and I'm hoping that Jonathan Gannon and co. and at the Cardinals is next to go.
Who does if Lane Kiffin does go to LSU like you're suspecting, where does Florida go?
I think the Tulane coach is where we're looking at right now, which it's not the most high profile of a hire, but he's done a good job everywhere he's been. So something to consider. I saw they had a meeting with him scheduled, but it got canceled. But either way, I know there's eyes on him right now.
You don't think old boy from Arizona State's
That's who I would like. I love Dillingham, but I haven't heard much about that in terms of a connection between those two.
I'm just burned for Dillingham because he was at FSU and he didn't have a playbook, and I don't want to go through that crap again. I'm like, we're good, man. We're good. Drawing up things in the sand is fine in the Big 12. I don't need that east of the Mississippi. Doug, what is your one big thing and what you're thankful for as we walk this off?
One big thing. We didn't get to talk about it last week because it happened last week. But Ortiz and Clace getting busted.
Oh,
with those pitches. Yeah. And it just bothers me as a baseball fan. And, we do the show about betting because I was always kind of worried when I noticed that, that you had the betting, that online betting was becoming a big thing. And I always looked at prop bettings and I looked at those kind of bets. And it always kind of concerned me that there might be, in years to come, that there might be some kind of corruption with those type of prop bets. Because that's an easy, if you can influence certain players, that's an easy place to make ill-gain money. So all I'm saying, my one big thing is I was disappointed to see it in the world of baseball with two pitchers on the same team.
That's such a stupid thing too, because they're getting like $5,000 when they're and Class A would have made over $100 million during his career.
I know.
It's absurd, throwing away tens of millions of dollars for a few
Ortiz
grand.
probably would have too, because Ortiz was starting pitcher and he eventually would have got to that number.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's all over nothing, and it just makes.
Well, you need to ban this kind of betting, ban that kind of. No, just ban the morons out of the league that do this stuff.
Yeah, and
give a damn.
And what I'm grateful for this Thanksgiving is Terry Francona, Mr. Tito with the Reds. I don't care what anybody says. He is the reason that in the last month that we won 14 out of 25, got ahead of the Mets. Just the extraordinary way he put coached this team, and basically he's the reason we got into the playoffs. I don't care what other Reds fans, because the Reds want him fired, because Reds fans are just like Florida fans. You don't win the World Series, go home. So I'm grateful for Terry Francona, and I'm also grateful to Notre Dame coach, Notre Dame players that after going 0-2, and after what we just did to Pittsburgh in front of a national audience, that we're probably going to make it to the national title playoffs.
I don't know about that.
I know.
Miami just leapfrogged you.
They did,
and it keeps going back and forth, and then you got Alabama in the mix of it. So if you win out, you got a strong case, I believe. But I don't know. I still think they let Notre Dame in because they always bend the rules for Notre Dame, and it's at the end of the day, it's a television show.
Yeah.
But people are making the argument that Miami should be in over Notre Dame because Miami beat Notre Dame. My pushback on that is this is because I'm a Florida State fan. It's because just from looking at it from realistic, Notre Dame lost on the road to Miami by a field goal. Then they lost a very close game that needed a miraculous comeback to an undefeated Texas A&M team now, right?
Yeah, won by 1 point on the last play.
Miami's losses were at home against Louisville and at SMU. That's not the same. Those are not the same losses. I get that you beat them head to head. But this is a totally different argument when you both have two losses. It's just I think Notre Dame deserves to be in. I think they're the better team. I think they played Miami again on a neutral field. Notre Dame's probably about a touchdown favorite. And to me, that's – and I don't want to hear any of this crap from Miami fans when they don't get selected, because you didn't shed a tear when Florida State got absolutely hosed out of the 2023 asterisk playoffs.
Because it's funny. Go ahead. Sorry.
My one big thing that's going to happen this weekend, if you look at the matchups that are going on, at least one, possibly two teams are going to get eliminated from the college football playoffs. And you can even make the argument 3 or 4. You got BYU going on the road. We know that the loser of USC Oregon probably doesn't get in. I could see maybe if Oregon loses, but they still win the Big Ten championship, get in there. Okay, maybe. But if USC loses, they're done. And unfortunately, we have a really, really soft college football schedule this weekend. You have teams like Georgia playing Charlotte, Alabama's playing Eastern Illinois. We're all used to this. This is the week before rivalry week. I get it, but it just sucks. I really wish teams would get all that Candyland crap out of the way in September and early October, and you should have to play conference matchups or at least a Power 5 team in November. So there's that. And then my I guess what I'm most thankful for this week is that we brought our closer back, Raisel Iglesias. I wasn't sure what they were going to do there, but they announced with that Joe Jimenez had another surgery to clean up some things. It doesn't sound like it's going to be as bad as it was last year, but they don't have a timeline for him coming back. So Jimenez may be cooked.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing in Mauricio Dubon, I still think they got to add another bat. I mean, that's not going to get it done. And I don't think they're bringing back Ozuna. So the DH, you can live with that as your shortstop at the bottom of the lineup. But anyways, that's it. We will see you not next week because it's Thanksgiving, and we could in theory do this on Wednesday, but I'd have to get with the guys and see if they can even make that happen. So we'll talk about that off there. If not, we'll see you in what will be going into the conference championship weekend is what we'll see you next time. And Bobby, just remember, go Noles, beat the Gators.
Buck back, third down on the 8. In trouble. Got a block behind him. Going to throw and a run. Complete to the 25. To the 30. Lindsey's got 35, 40. Lindsey's got 45, 50. 45, 40. Run, Lindsey. 25, 20, 50, 10, 5. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Lindsey stop. Well, I can't believe it. 92 yards, and Lindsey really got in a foot race. I broke my chair. I came right through a chair, a metal steel chair with about a 5-inch cushion. I broke it. The booth came apart. The stadium fell down. Now they do have to renovate this thing. They'll have to rebuild it now. I didn't mean to beg Lindsey to run, but I had to. You know, this game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight and up at St. Simon's and Jekyll Island and all those places? Man, is there going to be some property destroyed tonight.